Welcome to Bed Crime Stories podcast. I'm your host, T. If you like all things true crime, if you like it delivered in a peaceful, tranquil manner, if you like it clear and concise without drama, then I highly recommend you subscribe. And if you like what you hear, please smash the like button. It's a free way you can help. And now, without further ado, let's dig in. We haven't had a lot of news in the Madeline Soto case recently. Yesterday, Stephan Stearns had a court hearing. He was not there. He did not want to attend. His lawyers were there, and they asked for the trial to be delayed. Now, originally, his trial was set to start next week, but a judge did approve the request for more time, adding that there could be more than 170 witnesses in this case. Stearns' legal team said, quote, "We are moving to continue, Your Honor. We have quite a bit of work to do on the case. We're also requesting that instead of it being on a pre-trial docket, that it go onto a status docket. That way the state isn't constantly sending out subpoenas, for I believe there's somewhere in the vicinity of 177 witnesses right now." End quote. Now, although the state requested the new date be within the next 30 to 45 days, the judge set the trial for October 14th. And both the murder case, the murder of Madeline Soto, and the case involving the 16 SA charges, they're going to be tried together. Okay, so that's news about the trial. Now, I wanted to give you a little window into Stephan Stearns' life behind bars right now. So I have in front of me, and I'm going to read these to you, some email exchanges between Stephan Stearns and various people, primarily between him and his father, Chris Stearns. The first email was sent on 5/29/2024, and this is from Chris Stearns to his son, Stephan Stearns. He writes, "How does this work? Is it like snail mail? I assume, like everything else, everyone has access and can read these messages. I think this will get limited use. We'll see. Thoughts?" The next email is from Stephan Stearns to his father, Chris, and it was sent on June 19th at 7:14 p.m. Stephan writes, "Hey, I just got access to the tablet again. They have moved me to a regular isolation cell in C-Pod now. Presumably this is where I will stay for a while. It's not exactly the Ritz. It's a small cell, and the pod is quite noisy. I didn't think I would miss the medical pod, but now I wish I was back in that big cell where at least I could partially see out of the window and look at the sky and the grass and the trees off in the distance as they swayed in the breeze. I will try to call as soon as possible. I imagine you have your hands full with puppies, and I can't wait to hear all about it. I love you both, and will call soon. P.S. I am still waiting for the books to get into my hands. No clue if they were delivered yet. Maybe I will receive them in the next couple of days, hopefully. We'll see soon, I suppose. I would like Congo and The Hobbit to be among the next ones that you send, please. And maybe also a book on origami. That could be interesting to learn and a good way to pass time and satisfy my need to create and craft and use my hands. Let's try that. Hopefully it's allowed, since it's just folding paper, which I have plenty of, into different shapes, so it shouldn't be a security concern, I wouldn't think." And that's the end of that email. So his mention of the puppies is in reference to his mother, who raises puppies. I believe that she raises poodles, and I also think that she shows them in competitions. It's no surprise that Stephan and Chris do not discuss Maddie's death or the other 60 charges. Clearly, Chris is cognizant of the fact that authorities at the jail will read all this correspondence, so he knows not to ask Stephan about the crime. Stephan's father writes back that same night. He responds at 8:36 p.m. Chris writes, "Good to hear about your transfer and access to the tablet. Will this be full-time or limited, like it is passed around on rotation? Let me know how often you have access to the tablet. We'll write something every day. Can you send your mother an invite so she can write you separately? I'll help her get set up on her computer. We confirmed a few books were received yesterday, the 18th, 5 of them, and 1 more on Monday. We'll jump on the origami book and order it now. The puppies are doing well, and Lacey is a super mom. Get this. Yesterday, Mom had to rescue one of the puppies, who got its leg in the collar. She snagged the puppy out of the pen, sat down on the bed to adjust the collar. While she was sitting there, Lacey, at a dead standstill, leapt over the 3-foot pen and landed squarely on the bed to be with her puppy. I hate to think of what would have happened if she miscalculated the jump. Today, after many consecutive days of rain and threatening rain, no rain. We're in that rainy period of nonstop torrential rain that creates chaos with home building, flooding, and messy days. At least the ponds and retention ponds are looking normal again. They were really low. Tomorrow we travel with Lacey and the puppies to the vet to have the dew claws removed. This will not be fun. Not. Although it's better than your mother doing it, who is always a nervous wreck. It's worth the expense to avoid 7 puppies is 28 dew claws. Yep. Better to have the vet do it. Mom's writing a message below. Ordered the origami kit, which is book and 20 pieces of specific origami paper for the patterns. Also sent out The Hobbit and Congo. That will be it book-wise for the next couple of weeks. Those should hold you. I have the rest you want in the cart and marked as saved for later, so I wouldn't forget which ones you wanted. Okay guys, T here. The next sentence doesn't make sense. It reads, "The is Mom writing. Love and hugs to you." Okay, that's the end of that email. The next one is from Stephan Stearns to Chris Stearns, also on 6/19 of 2024, and it is sent at 8:55 p.m. Stephan writes, "Hey, the battery is low, so you gotta be quick here. I don't know how often I will get the tablet since others use it, and I just have to wait until it's available. Can't get the commissary to work on it yet. Don't know why, but see if you can drop another $30 in there in the meantime, so I can stock up on plenty of coffee. As for books, remove Christine, It, and Eyes of the Dragon from the list, and just wait for the Howling Trilogy book to be available to send that. The battery is about to die now. I love you both, and I accepted Mom's previous request to connect. Hugs and kisses. Talk to you later." That's the end of that one. Chris responds, and he writes at 9:05 p.m., "Okay, will do. Love you too." The next email is from Chris Stearns to Stephan Stearns. It's the next day. It's 6/20/24, and it's 5:06 p.m. Chris writes, "Hey Stephan, I confirmed today the books were delivered minus the playing cards. They have to confirm if they are allowed. If not, they will be placed with your personal property. Puppies and Lacey went to the vet to have dew claws removed. We docked the tails ourselves. Glad that's done. Puppy and Lacey are resting, crashed out. Nothing else to report. It was a restless night for your mom and Lacey. Lacey, as you know, is quite vocal and is very vocal with your mother during the night, wanting attention, food, or to be let out. Lacey is a very good mother, but very demanding. I hope your mom survives the 10 weeks. At this pace, I'm not sure. LOL, catch you later." That's the end of that email. Then on 6/22, so 2 days later, at 2:12 p.m., Stephan writes to his father, "Hey, I finally have the tablet again. I can confirm I have begun to receive the books, Dragon Teeth, Sphere, Timeline, Eaters of the Dead, and Sudoku. I have already read through Dragon Teeth and Timeline since Thursday, and am now reading Eaters of the Dead, LOL. Unfortunately, they would not allow the book on card games because it also contained playing cards, or maybe it was just playing cards, not sure, but it was placed in my property. Also, the origami book just arrived and suffered the same fate because it contained paper in addition to the book, which sucks. So I still need a book, just a book on it and nothing else. Could you possibly send a new one that is just a book? And going forward, send only books and nothing else with them. That's the rule, and there is no allowance for any deviation from or reinterpretation of that rule. Please make sure Mom understands this as well, as these items do me no good, locked away in my property, and are therefore also impossible for you to refund or exchange either, which is just a total waste all around. Oh yes, I'm sure Lacey is quite demanding and starving all the time now, and I completely believe she's capable of leaving Mom feeling harassed and henpecked. LOL. Life here in C-Pod is sort of an adjustment. Just getting an eating utensil with meals is a hassle. Paper spoons are provided to people in unaliving watch and medical, but apparently not here in the regular pods, which leads me to believe there must be a standard issue utensil, which I don't have. When I mentioned this to the officer dispensing food at lunch, he said, "Figure something out," and walked away. I guess Stephan's going to have to eat with his hands. And I will have to talk to the officers since I started in unaliving watch, and for the last 3.5 months have been in areas that are heavily restricted. I suspect there are many things which I should have, but never received. The mat is flat and has very little cushion left. The cell is small, filthy, and has some spots on the wall that appear to be bloody fingerprints. So it's 7 puppies instead of 8? Also, did the social workers pass my notes to you regarding the accounts to cancel the Spotify subscription yet? I also had some instructions for some of my personal property in there for you. That's the end of that email. Then, on that same day at 2:20 p.m., Chris writes back to Stephan, "Good to hear from you. Sorry to hear about the hassle. I will instruct your mother accordingly. How long do you get to hold the tablet? I just arrived home and need to unload groceries, but saw your message and wanted to get back to you right away." That's the end of that one. The next one is on, the same day, 2:24 p.m., and it's from Stephan to his father. "I will have it basically until they ask for it back, which may be an hour or two, sometimes longer, depending on demand and how attentive the officers are." That's the end of that one. Then later, Chris writes to Stephan at 2:54 p.m., "I failed to respond to your earlier question about the note from the social worker. No, we have not received anything from her yet." That's the end of that one. That same day at 3:25 p.m., Stephan writes to his dad, "Okay, no problem. She's probably awaiting approval from the attorneys. She has to run everything by them first. It looks like I have used up the free bonus messages on this system, so now it will start using the credits. It seems this message will use 50 credits. How much do these credits cost? I currently have 200. As far as the notes about some of my personal property at the house, it was mostly instructions for what to do with my Warhammer 40K miniatures and terrain. I have a bin of terrain pieces in a yellow and black bin in the garage that have been left near the treadmill, and several plastic boxes full of minis in my room, and even under the desk. If you want to get them out of the way, I was going to suggest finding one of my friends on my Facebook page, Matt Meisel, and seeing if he would be interested in any of them or the terrain, or if he might be able to help you sell them, or if you would rather just donate them to the North Port group. He could possibly help with that too, if he is willing. Contact him and see if he is willing to, and if so, coordinate with him. As for any of my Battle Tech minis or supplies, just leave those alone for now. There are some boxes for Battle Tech and also a small gray box with a red handle that is labeled Battle Tech near the handle that contains a lot of my Battle Tech minis. Just keep that aside along with anything else Battle Tech related until we know more about how things will go. Matt wouldn't be interested in them, and almost none of the other guys play it either, so hold on to it until I figure things out on my end. There is a second small gray box with a red handle that is not labeled. It contains a lot of Star Wars, Legion minis, and it belongs with all the stuff that is in a blue bag on the closet floor that contains a bunch of other Star Wars, Legion, and X-Wing stuff. I don't know what to do with that. I don't think Matt would be interested, but maybe Tristan might like it if you guys were inclined to ship it up to him. I don't know. It's up to you. For my trading card games and cards that are in the plastic drawers under my desk, leave them alone for now, but if we need to part with them in the future, Frank Peralta may be interested in some of them. But as I said, leave them for now until things become more certain for me, one way or the other. They have some value. As for my Tamagotchi and V-Pet collection that is hanging in the closet and around the room, don't do anything with them just yet until we know how things will shake out. A lot of them are rare, expensive, and difficult/impossible to replace in the kind of pristine condition they are in. So leave them for now, until we know more about what my situation is going to be. Sorry for the info dump, but basically just contact Matt Meisel about my Warhammer stuff. See if he's willing to help you with it, and don't get rid of any of my other stuff until we know more. That's the end of that email. I can't help thinking about Stephan Stearns being such a man-child. It seems like he's got all these little collector items for his games that he plays, his hobbies, and they're in his bedroom at his parents' house under his desk there, and mommy and daddy seem to be taking care of him, making it possible maybe for him to live this life of a grown man who just sits around all day and collects stuff. Chris writes back that same day, 6/22 at 4:22 p.m., and he writes, "Cost is 50 credits per message. When I send a message, it allows me to check a box that returns 50 credits to your account. I'll discuss all this with your mother and get back to you." So that's the end of that short email. Now we skip to June 25th and 6:39 p.m. And this is from Stephan to his father, Chris. "Hey, I've just gotten the tablet again for at least a little while. The battery seems to run out quickly on it, though. Might last only a couple hours. I have received The Hobbit, so that makes 5 books total received, beside the origami and cards that were stuck into my property. Still waiting delivery of Congo. How are things at the Poodle Palace? I miss you guys, and my mind is often occupied by thoughts of home. I wish I was there to help with the puppies. How are they? And Lacey." That's the end of that one. Later that day at 8:01 p.m., Chris writes back to Stephan, "Hey Steph, sorry for the delay in responding. I just saw this. Amazon canceled the order, but we reordered it. Mom ordered a replacement origami book. Be on the lookout for that. The puppies are doing well. We recorded one of the puppies, and how it was making sounds like Chewbacca, and immediately decided to call the puppy Wookie. Lacey is a super mother, takes after her mother, Kissy. Wish I could show you a photo of her nursing toward the end of the first day. She's face planted, and the puppies are nursing. Sort of, I'm exhausted, just nurse and leave me alone. Not much going on other than working and puppies. Here's Mom. As we were talking on the phone last time, I was looking up the books you said you wanted and putting them in the cart for later. I wanted to make sure I got the right ones. We will send out a couple at a time. I did reorder Congo. I don't know why Amazon canceled it, but they did. Maybe didn't have one available in paperback? Hopefully this one goes through. Dad is right about Lacey. She's a great testament to Kissy, as Kissy was to Dazzle. The puppies are gaining 2 to 3 ounces a day. Now all are over a pound. I'm about halfway through with the ENS exercises. They only go for 2 weeks. Looks like eye shine in the inner corners of the eyes. By next week they will be able to see, hear, and start walking. They are loud. I don't get much sleep between the heat lamp, nightlight, pups making their noises, and Lacey's demands to be taken outside every other hour and fed every 4 to 5 hours. It is truly a labor of love for us both. Love smelling and holding pups again. Wish you were here too. I finally reached the 50 pounds lost mark. Dad is looking like a third world refugee. He is so skinny. LOL. Big hugs and stay strong. We love you. And that's the end of that one. For some reason, it's irritating to me. I know they can't talk about the crime, but what their son is accused of is so disturbing. Doing in Madeline, a 13-year-old, and all the acts of SA. And here they are just having these mundane conversations, no mention of how could you do this. But of course I know they're worried that the authorities would read what they say. But still, it's just like irking me because we know Madeline is dead. But I guess as a parent, you love your child no matter what evil acts they do. I know that Stearns hasn't been convicted of the crime yet. However, there is very strong evidence against him. And we know that he is pictured in the photos with Maddie. So in my mind, there's no question about the SA charges, which is why I am convinced he's guilty. Okay, 6:25 at 8:46 p.m. Stephan writes to his father, Chris. Hey, Dad, looks that skinny. Wow, and congrats to Mom for the 50-pound milestone. I imagine I look rather changed as well. I just got to look at my face in the dark reflection of this tablet. My eyes are a bit sunk in with dark circles underneath, and my cheekbones are sticking out so much they look like they could cut you. I don't doubt that I'm continuing to lose weight. I am going on 4 months now here, and in all that time I have never felt a full stomach, and have in fact forgotten what that is like. There is never a time these days when I don't feel hungry, even right after a meal in which I completely clear my tray. I still feel hungry, but I am trying my best to at least stay in some kind of shape. Have done many push-ups and crunches over the last few weeks. Arms are starting to look a little bigger. It's funny how quickly and dramatically I get results from working out. I really should have done it more before. So you called the puppy Wookie instead of the obvious Chewy? Chewy sounds much better, LOL. I miss you both very much. One nice benefit of the tablet is access to the law library, which has a lot of case law and rulings. I have been busy looking through that a bit for anything relevant to my own situation, and think I have found some things which give me some hope. But only some. I'm not foolish enough to get my hopes entirely up for anything, and can only really hope that my legal team will agree with my ideas and are willing to pursue them as tenaciously as I want them to. I can't explain too much here, but there is still perhaps a slim hope for my situation. At any rate, my odds are not 0% at this time, Patience and faith, and no small amount of praying and hoping is what is getting me through. I maintain hope that I might be able to come home once this whole nasty business has reached its end, and ask that you both remain hopeful as well and continue to pray for me to be delivered home again. I have to have that hope, or I will be falling into true despair and lose the will to live. So keep that hope yourselves as well. Patience and faith. Still trying to figure out the issue with commissary on this tablet. It's blank when I open the link. An official came to check on me today to see how I'm doing in isolation, really to see if I'm cracking up and need to go back into the care and watch of mental health. And I mentioned to him my issues with commissary. He said he would look into it. I also opened a request to administration through this tablet regarding the issues as well a few days ago, so I expect a reply in the next day or two. I have only 7 coffees left, which is dangerously low for me. I usually like 2 a day and have started rationing down to 1, but soon I will have none, and then I will be really glum. I also have only 3 pieces of root beer candy left, so things are getting quite bleak here for me in C. I have not been able to resupply since I left the medical pod. I received a random drug test today. My name popped up on the list for it, which neither myself or the officer could understand, since he knew as well as me that I've been in isolation the whole time. So we both chuckled and shrugged and did it anyway. Go figure. I wish I could be there when the pups start to open their eyes. That's always one of my favorite times with them. Seeing their little eyes grow more clear and waking up to the pen and seeing all the little tails start wagging when they see me as they do that little puffy-chested prancing march over to greet me. I'm glad Lacey is such a good mom and wish I was there to pet her and praise her. I may have the tablet a while longer, so write back if you like, and I might see it tonight, if not in the next day or two. Love you both, hugs and kisses. Later that night at 9:11 p.m., Chris writes back to Stephan, "You don't see the commissary and cannot order anything? I hope that gets resolved quickly. Do you remember your balance? Jail and prison are not meant to be comfortable. All part of the mental punishment, I guess. Stay positive. Talk with your attorneys. I keep thinking about how you would not ever rat out a friend. It really made me mad, and I felt like you valued them over us when you let them get away with stuff. Don't be doing that again. We all know," and the next word is redacted, "was heavily involved in this, and I am disgusted that she is free and you are not when this is not all your fault." Oh my God, guys, I believe that would be a reference to Jen Soto. You need to think about yourself more and her less. She sure isn't thinking of you and how she can help you right now. The whole family is willing to stay quiet and let you take the fall for everything. When you do that, you are hurting us too. Please get out of your head over this and start talking with your attorneys. This stuff is serious, and you need to approach it as life and death, which it is. I think of the craziness, and it's redacted, live through with, redacted, various partners, not a stable life at all for a child. I do pray for, redacted, and for you daily. I am thrilled that you are working out again and have a physical outlet for the stress. I hope you get your coffee and candy straightened out quickly. So far, I haven't seen a cancellation of Congo. Let us know as stuff filters down to you through the system. This origami book is just paperback, no paper, just patterns if I read it right. Well, I'm off to feed the curly ones now. Love, hugs, and prayers now, and every day and night. Mom." End quote. Oh my God. Stephan Stern's mom, if the name redacted really is Jen Soto, seems to be saying that she believes that Jen Soto is involved in all of this. Stephan's mom seems to be saying that Jen Soto is somehow involved in all of this. Now, that might be true, but that might also be something that she gleaned from her own son and perhaps he's lying about it, but we just don't know. But how interesting is that? Okay, the next email is sent the same day, 6:25 at 9:32 p.m., and it's from Stephan to his father. He writes, "Yep, it's a blank screen when I pull up the commissary link. I think if I recall, I asked around the 19th for you to drop $30 in, but haven't been able to order, so minus $2 per day. Since then, maybe $18 left at this point. So maybe drop more in so I will have funds whenever I do get this sorted. I'll keep you updated on that. I'll let you know as the books come in. So far I have The Hobbit, The Eaters of the Dead, Sphere, Dragon Teeth, Timeline, and the Sudoku book. I have finished The Hobbit today. How I enjoy that book, oh gosh. And that means I have read all the books you have sent me, LOL. I am, after all, a voracious reader, and many of the Crichton books were read straight through in a day and night. They are always such page-turners. I can't help it. The battery light is starting to flash on the tablet now, so this may be my last message tonight. It really runs out fast under use. And I've even been keeping it logged out with the screen off in between messages. Ugh. In other news, I at least got a standard issue spoon and cup today, so that's one problem solved for the time being. Anyway, I love you both, and we'll try to get the tablet again in the next day or two. So right back. Hugs and kisses and well wishes to you both, and give my love to the fur babies too. Good night. XOXOXOXO. Stephan's father, Chris, writes back at 9:38 p.m. Okay, I'll add some money and replenish funds. By coincidence, I came across your list of books, so we'll jump on Amazon and order you more books. Let us know what other books to order, as we'll cycle through this list soon. Are there any other mind games like crossword puzzles you'd like? Have you seen the attorneys regarding the POA yet? That's the end of that one. I believe POA would be power of attorney. The next email is on 6/29 at 1:51 p.m. It's from Stephan to his father. It reads, I have not seen the attorneys regarding POA yet. I was finally able to use the commissary kiosk yesterday. It said there was $28 in the account, which means by Monday there will be $22. So I had to keep my order under that, but I ordered 25 coffees for delivery on Tuesday, which cost $21.25. Couldn't get any more hard candy or crackers for budget, but I prioritized coffee and ran out yesterday. So I want to make sure I could get enough to last about 2 weeks if I limit myself to 2 a day. Sometimes I do have more though. I received the Easy Origami book yesterday and have already learned a few patterns, and wouldn't mind being sent an intermediate one soon. I'm glad you came across the book list, and yes, there are more titles I can add to it. As we cycle through the list, I will message you guys to add more. I'm still awaiting delivery of Congo, but as for what to send next, I'm thinking along the lines of Jurassic Park, The Lost World, and perhaps the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which can be found in a complete single-volume paperback, or alternatively, Ready Player One if you don't want to send the trilogy just yet. As far as other mind games go, not much yet, though I still need a book for single-player card games and whatnot. I will have the tablet for a little while and will try to turn it off to conserve battery and check these messages again in a little while. So right back. Love and hugs. Then later that night at 2:06 p.m., Chris writes back to Stephan. He writes, okay, I'll put more funds in it. Their system says their network is down, so I'll keep trying. We'll order what we can. I think Congo is still out for delivery. If I recall, there was a delay in shipping. Mom's referring to the list and we'll send out what we can. Puppies are over £1 now and all have fat bellies. They're becoming more active and vocal. It won't be long before their eyes and ears will open and the fun times begin. Joy. Quiet and calm will slowly dissipate. I switched companies this week as I'm working on something large. Won't go into details due to privacy, but all is good. July 10th, I'm told, is a pre-trial meeting to determine if your trial is pushed off to a later date. I'll let you know if I hear anything. The next email is from Stephan to his father. He writes, "Okay, yes, thank you, and keep trying to add funds. If I'm lucky, I might be able to use the kiosk again tomorrow and perhaps add a few more items, like candy and crackers. Yes, it sounds like the noisy times are upon you. I'm a bit jealous, though. I miss puppy time. What books are on the list that you have from me, so I know what to add from my own list that I'm compiling? I hope your big project works out. Yes, I heard July 10th as well, and that it is likely to be pushed off and dragged out for a while. Give Mom my love and write back. I will turn off the tablet and check again in a bit. Much love." Then Chris writes back to Stephan, "Here is what is being sent. Jurassic Park, Lost World, Ready Player One, Lord of the Rings trilogy, and the origami book you wanted. Remaining on the list is Ultimate Hitchhiker, Denatropia Lost, Moby Dick, 20,000, Jaws, It, Call of the Wild, Eruption, Dune Saga, Cycle of the Werewolf, Eyes of the Dragon, Christine, Lost World of Jurassic Park, Pirates, Latitudes, Andromeda Strain, Next, and Prey. Mom sends hugs, and we're both responding to the same message, love and hugs." Next, we get another message from Stephan. He writes, "Remove IT and Christine and Call of the Wild from the list. I will send you my own list so you can compare and add as needed, minus what has already been received or is in transit, like Congo. Please make sure it is just books and not box sets. I have a feeling even the box for the box sets would be an issue. The list is as follows: The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Ready Player One, Dinotropia, Lost, The Lord of the Rings trilogy, book The Silmarillion, Jurassic Park, The Lost World, The Andromeda Strain, Pirate Latitudes, Micro, Jaws, Moby Dick, Treasure Island, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Journey to the Center of the Earth, Dracula, Frankenstein, The Howling Trilogy book, Cycle of the Werewolf, Dune Murder, On the Orient Express, the Icewind Dale Trilogy book, the Dark Elf Trilogy book. That's all for now. The battery is getting low again. Ugh. Love you both very much, and we'll check in later on the next couple of days. Hugs and kisses. XOXOXOXO." And that's the last one. So what can we glean from this? Clearly his parents, Stephan Stern's parents, still love him. They seem to think that Jen Soto is somehow involved with him, that he's allowing her off the hook and he's taking the full brunt of everything. That may be just stories that Stephan has told his parents, but I do wonder, how much did they know about all of this? It also seems like these are parents who have enabled their adult son to live a life where he doesn't seem to have a full-time job. He's more intent on reading books and playing all these games and whatever he's doing with all these miniatures. And actually, I think he's going to do quite well in prison. I do believe he will be convicted because he in there will not have the pressures of real life. He won't have to pay rent on where he's staying. He doesn't have to work to get food. The food will be provided. His parents look like they're eager to provide him with all the other extras like books, games, money for goodies like candy and crackers and coffee. Maybe over time they'll be less willing to send him money and goods and treat him like this. Maybe after a trial, if he is convicted, they might start to look at him a little differently. I also find it interesting how he sort of congratulates himself. He talks about being a voracious reader. It just makes it sound like he thinks very highly of himself. And of course, we've heard Stephan complaining that the cushion on the mattress isn't thick enough Same sort of complaints he gave to the authority who drove him to the jail that day. I don't know if you saw that video, but he seems to be a bit of a whiner, and I think it's really funny that his father reminds him jail is not supposed to be nice. It's not supposed to be comfortable. Okay, well, let me know what you gleaned from all of that in the comments. If you enjoyed this, please smash that like button. It really helps, and I'll see you next time on Bed Crime Stories.